Okay, now I'm going to show you how to add shipping rates for Lulu today, which is pretty much like adding shipping rates for your own store. There really isn't any difference, except you won't be using a carrier for this. You'll put in the Lulu rates. Now, I'm not talking Lulu live rates. They are based on carrier calculated rates. And if you're lucky enough to have them, like I am, it means your store is probably around 3 years old before Shopify upped the requirement to a higher plan. Now, I will show you how to do it. So you go to shipping and delivery and settings, which you'll find down the bottom. Click on that, click shipping and delivery, and you can create a new profile here. Now, I have already created a new profile and I have named it Lulu. Always, don't think you'll remember, always give things very clear names. It will save your sanity. Literally, don't even call it something else. Call it Lulu or Lulu shipping, something like that. And this is what happens when you do it. Now, I have already set up some here for the US, and I have set up some for Australia, but I'll show you what to do if you haven't set them up. So first of all, you have to add a zone. So for Canada, we will add a rate. Now, it's always best to add 2 rates, like a cheap rate and a faster rate. If you want to, you can add lots more rates if you have plenty of time to spare. It's up to you. Or you could add 2 rates to start with, and when you have more time down the track, come back and add more. So here you must choose custom. Now, if this is your own country, that is the country of your default currency, it might give you some shipping rates here. But if it does, ignore them and put custom in, because you're going to have to put in what Lulu has, but there's a catch. Here you'll see when it's Canadian dollars here, Lulu won't give you Canadian dollars, it will give you US dollars, so you'll have to convert them. So we pop over to here to the Lulu pricing. And so we'll just put up something, just pick something you would normally do, just to get an idea of the pricing. And then just quickly grab anything here. It doesn't really matter, just anything that's, kind of a normal thing for you. And then this is where it will be. Click quantity and shipping estimates. And by the way, up here, it's lulu.com/pricing. And so we scroll down here and we start with 1. And then we put in the destination country, which here auto-populates, but if it didn't, you'd simply type it in. And then click this and it will show you the shipping methods. Now you can see this is trackable. It's always good, if possible, to keep it to trackable, because then, people can't pretend it's gone astray and it takes away a lot of issues. So put in here mail trackable. You go back here and type in mail trackable. Now, I advise copying and pasting this, so you can just copy and paste it for each one you do. And now we want to go down and we'll see the price. And here it is $8.39 US. So open another tab, put in $8.40, because there'll always be currency conversion things. We could put in a bit more, 2 CAD, and we'll see what it turns out to be, $11.60. So to cover yourself, you could make it $11.65, or you could put in $11.60. You could even put in more if you wanted to charge more for whatever reason. And whoops, wrong place. So go back here and put in $11.65. But this is the thing. Then we come down here to add conditional pricing. Now that's fine for one book, but say someone buys 5, they don't want to pay 5 times $11.65, do they? So we'll have to fix that. So, but first of all, we'll add the conditional pricing. So leave this as 0 and put here 0.5. Now I'm working in kilograms. If you're working in pounds, put in 1. And this will cover one book because they're typically just under half a kilogram or they're just under a pound. So this is your number 1 is now done. But as I said, that's only for one book and that's only for the slowest possible, cheapest method. So to do more books, we will add another rate. So here we go to, and here it's nicely populated based on weight. So I will put in 0.52. And now let's say we're going to do, this will cover 2 to 5 books. So we can't price it on 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books, or you'd be there for 6 weeks. So we're just going to price it for 2 to 5 books. So that will be half a kilogram to 2.5 kilograms. Or if you're in pounds, that would be 1 to 5 pounds. And so we pop across back to Lulu and we put in 5, which is the upper end to cover ourselves. And then we click on shipping method again, and we see the price for trackable is now $15.63. So we pop back here and we put in $15.65, and then we convert it to Canadian dollars. So that's $21.62. So we pop back to our Shopify store and we put in, and then we click done. Now, if you tend to do strange things or get interrupted, or the dogs jump on you, or the cat tries to murder you, or something like that, you could always come back once you have done it, and you can just look down the list and see if you have done anything strange. Typical errors, speaking from experience, I might base something on by mistake. Instead of on weight, I might base it on price. So always double check at the end. Now, as I said, I advise pricing it at 1 book, 2 to 5 books, 6 to 10 books, and 11 to 20 books. I don't price at 21 books and over because who's going to buy more than 21 books? And even if they do, they can contact you and say, hey, I want to buy 50 of your books to send to my friends for Christmas. And then you can set up a special pricing then. But there's no point in doing that until somebody contacts you. Less effort is my motto. Okay. We go back to add rate because now we're going to do 6 to 10 books. So we add rate. We go back here again, custom, and we paste it. And so before we forget, pop down here and put 2 to 5 to 5 kilograms. And again, if you're in pounds, that is 5 pounds to 10 pounds. And now we go back to Lulu and we see what Lulu will charge for that. So this time we put in 10 up here. Now also be warned, when I get up to 20 books, there's sometimes a glitch. Now, it could just be my computer or Australia's slow internet, or it could be a Lulu thing. I don't know, but make doubly sure that this actually works, because sometimes when I've put in 20, it's still showing the 10 and I have to refresh the page and then enter everything right from scratch. So pop down here, it's 24.18. Go back up here, 24. And that's 33.44. And then everything else looks okay, and we click done. And you can see I've made a mistake here, which is why it's good to check. Instead of mail trackable, I've had standard international. So I just pop here and I can click edit rate. So that's what you do when you make an error. Go custom and you name it here. Oh, by the way, something else I didn't do, which you should do, is say how long it's going to take. So here it says 9 to 11 business days. So I will write, because people, of course, always want to know, and rightly so, 9 to 11 business days, and save. I'll just pop back and edit these as well. See, it's super easy to edit them. So now you can see we've got these, and just make sure they're all lining up. And now we will do our last rate for the it's the cheapest Canadian rate. And then we'll do a priority or an express, depending what country you're in. They're called different things. But see, this hasn't populated, so we must click add conditional pricing and make sure it's based on weight, not price. So for 11 to 20 books, it will be 5 to 10 kilograms. And again, if you're in pounds, that will be 10 to 20 pounds. So again, we get ready to pop over to Lulu. So we pop over to Lulu and we put in 20. Now we see it is 36.88. So 50.99, I'll call it 51, or might as well call it 50.99. Sounds better. 50.99. So let's have a look here. Just double check we've got everything is correct here, and make sure these are ascending prices, or you might have made an error. And it will show you what it is in your default currency as well. Okay, so now we're going to add rates for the same thing again, for 1 book, for 2 to 5 books, for 6 to 10 books, and for 11 to 20 books, but we're going to give them an option of faster shipping. So we click add rate. And again, this is just leave this 0, and we're going to go to 0.5 kilograms. And again, if you're in pounds, that's 1 pound. And we're going to, and always click custom. All right, back to Lulu. We're going to go back to 1. And then we will find our shipping method here. See, it's still on the 20 there. So just be a bit careful with that. Sometimes there's a lag. No, it's still doing it. Okay, now if this happens to you, refresh the page and you have to start from scratch. I'm sorry to say. So just pick something rando here. Just pick an average page count. It doesn't really matter. There's not much in it. Just scroll. Click quantity and shipping estimates. Scroll down and we have 1, and we again choose Canada. And so we see the shipping methods here from the drop down. Now we have already done mail trackable, so we're now going to give them something faster. So you can either choose to go with Canada with priority, which is 7 to 9 days, or you could go ground trackable, which is 6 to 8 days, or you could do express shipping, which is 4 to 6 days. So there isn't really a lot of difference between 6 and 7 and 9 and 6, is there? So really, I mean, I like to get things same day, but I would probably even be happy with priority mail. Or you could go a little more, but let's just do priority mail here. So we'll go back and we will write, now that's 7 to 9 days. So we will go and always tell them it's trackable. And always tell them it's business days. Just because we work weekends doesn't mean other people do. Okay. Copy and paste this to save you probably type much better than I do. Your fingers probably all haven't been broken by horses, but still it is a big time saver. So we have, yes, I've entered that correctly. So we'll go back and see what the priority charge is, and it is 14 US. So we go back here. And we see this is $14.01. So make it sound a bit better. But of course, this is currency conversion currently, and it will change. But I do tend to notice that Lulu does tend to price it a little higher than what it will be. Now, another thing here, see, I watch this sort of thing here because I do this all the time. You might not, but it's good to see you haven't put thousands of dollars in there by mistake. So that's what it's going to cost for one book, and then done. Now we'll do another one. Make sure it's custom, paste it here, and then scroll down. Now this is for 2 to 5 books. I'll actually write this out in the comments for you so you can see it more easily. Now, this again, I'll write all this out for you below. But see, this is 0.5 kilogram to 2.5 kilograms. And again, if you're working in pounds, that is 1 pound to 5 pounds. A book weighs just under 0.5 kilogram and weighs just under a pound. So then the price. So this is for 2 to 5 books. So we pop back over here and always enter the maximum, 5. Then we click this and see what 5 will cost them. So it's going to cost them, say, $17.40. So pop over to here. And that's, say, 24. So you could make it $23.99 to make it sound a bit better, or you could just put $24.04. I might put $23.99. Remember, a happy customer is a repeat customer. And then done. And again, you can easily see, for example, always check this several times for errors. Make sure you've got this 0.5 and 0.5 here, or, so on. Make sure everything's good. And then we'll add the next rate. Always go straight here, custom, and copy and paste your rate name. And always mention the name of the service, mention that it's trackable or not trackable, and always say the name of the business days it will take to deliver it. And we will scroll down. Now, this will be from 6 to 10 books, and this will be 2.5 to 5 kilograms. And again, for pounds, just double it. That's 5 to 10 pounds. So this is for 5 to 10 books. And we will pop over here. And because it's for 5 to 10 books, we'll enter 10. And we will pop down to priority mail and see what this is going to cost. Now, this is $25.93. I'm just going to put 26 to make life easier. So that's $35.93. So you have to do all these currency conversions. All right, I forgot what it was already. $35.93. Which is a little bit time consuming. And then the last one, which will be for 11 to 20 books. And I always do as much as I can here first. So this is 5 to 10 kilograms because it's for 10 to 20 books. So it's saying it's 38.63. So that's say 53.40. And there you have it. Always keep saving it too, because you might put them all in and then something could happen and heaven forbid you could lose them all. So now and don't worry if they all don't show, you can click show more rates. So now let's check that we've done everything correctly. Here if you're in pounds, you'll have 0 to £1 and so on, but just make sure that they're all ascending, and then here that they're all ascending here in the correct way. They're all right there, and then make sure you could just do two, as I said, a trackable, like the cheapest one, and then a more expensive, faster one. So just do the two, because you can see how long that took me just to do one place. And then just make sure here that the prices are in ascending order, and that all looks good. And that's all you have to do for a country, for one country. So in the comments below, I will put that the weights for you in kilograms and pounds, and like I will go through the 1 book, the 2 to 5 books, the 6 to 10 books, the 11 to 20 books. And as I said, I wouldn't bother doing over 21, because people, if they want to get more than 20 books, they will definitely contact you. And so if you did want to add more rates, you can come back at any time. And I showed you how to edit it. You simply click these 3 dots and you can edit the rate. Don't click delete by mistake. So currently I have the US and Canada. Now, say you wanted to add another one, you just click Create Zone. Now, a rate is within a zone. Think of a zone as a country or a group of countries. So the rates are the mail prices and the zone is the country. So I'll run through the UK, Create Zone, and I will call it UK, and we will search here. But I've already shown you everything you need to do, but I'm just going to give you another example now of another place. And just follow what I do and pause this video. And if you get stuck, just ask questions below. And then you just click Done. And save, always save. And it will always come up with a message, you don't have any rates, obviously, because you haven't added them yet. So we just click Add Rate, and then we go through it again. So add conditional pricing, and we want it based on weight. Again, 0 to 0.5, and again, it's £1 if you're in pounds. And now let's see what Lulu does with the United Kingdom. So we go back to 1. Let's hope this works. 1. And I will choose United Kingdom. Okay, so it is mail non-trackable. So it's up to you. Do you want to do a non-trackable? Because if the customer does a non-trackable and something happens with the package, it's unlikely that Lulu will replace it for you. It needs to be tracked. So, okay, here you can see we have 2 non-trackables. And we'll have to choose the cheapest one. It's not ideal to have a non-trackable because if it doesn't arrive, you have no comeback. There's nothing you can do. You just have to tell the customer you can't replace it if you so wish, or you could replace it. It's up to you. But if it is trackable, it is likely that Lulu will replace it for you. So since priority mail is non-trackable, we will just go with mail non-trackable, and that is 6 to 8 business days. So we'll go here, again, custom, and we will call it mail. Now, I like to make it very clear it's non-trackable. So I put that in caps. And it was 6 to 8 business days. All right, now remember to copy and paste that. So this will be the cheapest one for you. Now you can see, of course, again, this is in British pounds, so we have to convert them. So I'll pop over here to see what this is, and it's 522 US. So and it's around £4. So say £4.10. So we just write this in here. And we click Done. Just make sure it looks okay. Yes, it looks okay. All right, so now we're going to do 2 to 5 books. Again, copy and paste it straight away. And 2 to 5 books is 0.5 of a kilogram to 2.5. And that is the same as £1 to £5. And again, this is for 2 to 5 books. So we pop back over to Lulu and we see that it is, we have to put in again the upper limit here. which is 5 books. And see what they'll charge for that. So say roughly $9. And that turns out to be £7.05. And save it. See, that looks okay there. All right, now we'll add another rate. Go to custom. And this time it is for 6 to 10 books. So we put in here 2.5 to 5 kilograms or 5 to 10 pounds. So we'll pop back here, put in the 10 here, and we'll see what the charges will be. Now, interestingly, once you get over that, it looks as though Lulu doesn't have the cheaper shipping for 10. Now, just put in 9 and see. Okay, it does. Okay, so what you could do in this instance, if you run into this, you could do it for 9 and do it for that price there. So say we'll make it $12. And that will be $9.40. And you could adjust this back down if you're on into something like that. That was meant to be a 5, by the way. So I might do 4.5 and so adjust it to the 9 books there. So you see, you might have to play with it a little bit like that. And then because some of the locations do not have they don't have the cheaper rate when it goes up, and fair enough too, because once you get into some books like that, you really don't want them to go non-tracked. So this will be for I'll do 4.5 to 10 because I dropped that one back before. And you can see here that you won't be getting the cheaper rate here. So this won't be correct. So we'll have to see what it's going to be when we put in 20. And it won't appear here sometimes when you get up into these numbers. So you've got to look at shipping and handling here. If there's only the one option. So this will be express shipping trackable. So I'll show you what to do if it doesn't tell you how many days. I'll show you a workaround. First of all, we'll grab the price, which is $37.64. Let's just call it $29.50. But then we have to pop across and we'll go back to 9. And we can see it is 4 to 6 business days. And then we just work back with our express trackable, which we use as we'll go back to the one book and we'll give them the express trackable option. So again, 0 to 0.5. Back to Lulu, we put in 1. And see, it's not doing it, so we have to refresh the page. So I'm showing you everything that can go wrong. It's all very well to show you the theory of it, but it's also good to show you what can go wrong because these things happen and you need to know what to do when they do. So again, just make it up as you go along. Just put in your standard kind of book size. This doesn't matter so much here. Just to give you a thing, what you want is the best part here. So we've got 1. So we choose United Kingdom again. And then now we're looking for express shipping. So it's down here. And it is $12.12 US. I have to convert this. So it's say $9.50. We'll put in $9.50. So how's it looking now? We have 2 expresses. We've got that one for there and we've got the big one. Okay. And so always custom, no matter what it says, you must do custom for Lulu. Just ignore whatever it says there. And so we're going up 1. So this will be 0.5 to 2.5. And again, if you're in pounds, that is 1 to 5 pounds. And that is for 2 to 5 books. So we pop across to Lulu and we look at the express option. And again, always put in the upper one here. 2 to 5, you want to put in 5. And we look at the express again, and that is 1864. So 1460 pounds. And we just click add a rate, do the same thing again, always do custom. As I said, paste, scroll down. And remember I did 9 before because England didn't have it, but it's up to you. So that would be 2.5, and this time I'm going 4.5. And here we're going to have to go to 9 because Lulu would do it over that. But if you don't want the worry of 9 books going astray, you could just offer the more expensive shipping there. $24.16. And that's $18.91. So say $18.95. And now we check for errors. So I have these, should have 4 of each. I've only got 3. Where's my other one? Oh, yes, that's right, because it didn't have it. Okay, so do we just check for errors? You don't want to have repeated anything. And remember, we could only do 3 instead of 4 because it didn't have a non-tracked option for that. You can just make sure here if it says pounds or kilograms, you'll know you haven't accidentally done it by price. And you can do it by price if you wish, but I don't advise that to do that for Lulu, and click save. Now, say you wanted to do another country, you would go back up to add rate. Sorry, you would go, say you wanted to add another country, you would go back up to create zone. Click create zone, and let's say I'm going to do New Zealand. And choose it. And then it will come up and tell you you don't have a rate for it. And then you can add the rate and so on. So a quick recap before we end this session. Create a zone, you can choose your country. And like, it's a good idea, obviously your own country, and the US is a big one. So the US, Europe, you can put all the European countries in together. The UK, if you wish, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, places like that, where you're likely to have a market, and get them all in. And even if a country has, say, 5 or 6 or even 10 mail options, it will take you forever to put them all in. So pick a cheap one and pick a fast, like a priority or an express one. Give the customer the option, but make sure, just have a think about if it's untracked, there could be an issue, because like I often get mail going missing, or I'll get someone else's mail. Happens quite a bit with Australia Post. So if you're in that situation and the customer doesn't get their book and it's untracked, then you can't do anything about it unless you want to fork out a book for them. So Lulu can't really replace a book if it's not tracked. So just have a think about whether you do want to offer non-tracked mail. And the other things, and as I said, I'll put in the comments the way to group them, but just always check when you increase or decrease this. It's sometimes glitchy for me. It might not be for you to go back from 20 to 1 or to go from 10 to 20. So just make sure that's not happening. If so, refresh the page and start from the beginning. So I think that's about all I have to tell you. I showed you the glitches there. As I said, sometimes the cheaper rates aren't available when you go up in the weights. And you can keep adding as many zones as you want and adding as many rates as you want. And it's easy to edit. You just click this and you can edit the rate. And thank you to the client who let me do this on her site, because I've got live rates on some of my sites, but not on others. And I didn't have anything to set up. So a big thank you to her. And that's all for now. Oh, but please like and subscribe. It helps me keep doing these tutorials for you. Okay, bye.